When you think about World War II, what comes to mind? Probably big battles, right? Armies clashing on the front lines. But today, we're going to focus on one of history's darkest, most important chapters, and it happened far away from any traditional battlefield.
So let's start with a question, just to get us thinking. What was the deadliest part of the entire war? I mean, when you picture that massive conflict, what's the very first image that pops into your head?
Well, the answer, it might surprise you. Because the greatest loss of life, the most systematic and, frankly, tragic part of the war, it wasn't fought between soldiers on some battlefield.
6 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. 6 million. That's how many Jewish people were systematically murdered by Nazi Germany and its collaborators. And we call this event the Holocaust.
Okay, so what was the Holocaust exactly? To really get a handle on its significance, we have to be super clear about what the word means and the staggering scope of this genocide.
Now look at the keywords here. Planned and organized. This is so important. The Holocaust wasn't just random violence. No, this was a systematic, state-sponsored campaign of persecution and murder. It was a machine.
And while Jewish people were the primary victims, the Nazis' net of hatred was cast much wider. They targeted so many other groups they considered undesirable. We're talking about the Roma people, people with disabilities, political opponents, LGBTQ individuals. Really, anyone who just didn't fit into their twisted and hateful ideology.
A catastrophe on this scale, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's not like a switch was flipped. The Holocaust was actually the final, horrifying stage of a long, gradual process. It was an escalation of hate, and we really need to understand how that happened.
So, this was the path, and look where it starts. It begins not with guns, but with hateful words and propaganda. Stuff designed to dehumanize entire groups of people. Once you do that, it makes it easier to pass discriminatory laws, stripping people of their rights, their citizenship. And from there, it's a short jump to organized violence and forced deportation, all leading to that final, horrific step, systematic, industrialized murder.
And this is the crucial takeaway, right here. The groundwork for mass murder was laid with words. The violence only became possible after the victims had been relentlessly dehumanized in the eyes of the public. It's a chilling thought.
Okay, so to really understand how this system of murder was carried out, we need to look at its epicenter. There's one name that has become totally synonymous with the Holocaust itself: Auschwitz.
So the Nazis ran two main types of camps. You had concentration camps, which were primarily for brutal forced labor and punishment, but then you had death camps. And these were something else entirely. They were literally factories designed for one purpose and one purpose only: mass murder on an industrial scale.
And what made Auschwitz so uniquely horrific is that it was both. It was this massive, sprawling complex that combined a brutal concentration camp with a terrifyingly efficient death camp. And that's why, to this day, it remains the most powerful symbol of the Holocaust.
The sheer scale it's just almost impossible to wrap your head around. At Auschwitz alone, more than 1 million people were murdered, and most of them were Jewish. This one single camp shows the chilling efficiency the Nazis achieved in turning genocide into an organized process.
But we just can't let these staggering numbers blur the real truth, because behind every single one of those statistics, there was a person, a human life, a story, a family.
I mean, these were people just like you and me. They were children with their whole lives ahead of them, parents who loved their kids, grandparents with a lifetime of memories. They were artists, scholars, our friends or neighbors. They had hopes, they had dreams, and all of it was just extinguished by this system of hate.
But amidst this unimaginable horror, there was also incredible resilience. And the people who survived, they made it their life's mission to bear witness, to tell their stories. Their testimonies are such a vital human part of this history. They made sure the world could never, ever deny what happened.
So why is it so incredibly important that we study and remember all of this today? Well, because the Holocaust isn't just some historical event locked away in a textbook. It is a profound and, frankly, an enduring warning for all of us.
This history, it teaches us so much. It shows us the terrifying danger of unchecked hatred. It shows us how easily propaganda can pave the way for real-world violence. It reminds us why human rights are absolutely essential, why we need tolerance, and maybe, most importantly, it highlights our shared responsibility to stand up against injustice wherever we see it.
And that brings us to this really powerful idea. Learning this history, it's not about making people feel guilty for the past, it's about accepting responsibility for the future. It's our duty, really, to honor the victims by making sure that when we say the words "never again," they actually mean something.
So I'm going to leave you with this one thought. History is a warning. The past is speaking to us, offering a clear and terrible warning. The real question for all of us living right now is a simple one. Are we listening?